Hi there, Raiders. This is Dr. Chris Miller, and I just wanted to give you a couple of minutes to know what to expect on September 8th. This is our quick slideshow of HPMS reopening. I'm real excited about how we've been doing virtual for the last few days. Everybody seems to understand what synchronous and asynchronous means, and it seems like we're getting assignments in. We're able to have discussions with our teachers. So I'm real proud of you for being able to really kind of embrace this new way of learning. But on September 8th, we will open our doors and we will resume face-to-face learning for a great many of you. Most of the majority of our students, about 80%, will be returning face-to-face on September 8th. So this video is to help kind of walk you through it. And so there's no surprises and you know how to prepare for it. So with that, I'm going to kind of start with, before you ever walk into the school or wake up on September 8th, next Tuesday, some things to think about. You need your mask. Wear your mask to school daily, and I would definitely have a backup. I have 2 or 3 in my office here just in case one breaks. I have that backup. Reminder, neck gaiters and scarves, bandanas are not acceptable forms of face coverings, so make sure you do have a face mask. Also, make sure you bring a backpack that's big enough to hold all of your items. You'll have all your school supplies plus an HPISD Chromebook that you'll be transporting throughout the day. Remember, we won't be using our lockers this school year, so you'll want to have a backpack to carry all the items around from the beginning to the end of the school day. Also, bring a water bottle. Water fountains will be shut down, but the drinking fountains, but the bottle fillers will be available for all of our students throughout the building and throughout the day. Just to give you an idea of what the first day schedule looks like, we'll start with advisory, which is your 7th period on your Skyward schedule, and then we'll run the rest of the day. We'll run in chronological order there, and by the time we hit lunch, we'll pretty much be on a regular timing of a regular school day. But definitely print off your schedule before you come to school that day, so you have that. So just to kind of review there, make sure you have a mask, backpack, water bottle, your first day schedule may be printed out. We have all of these bell schedules too on our About HPMS drop down for our website. Make sure you have your supplies. Again, face masks, your wrap pack supplies. Your teachers will go over thoroughly in the next few days what needs to come out of that wrap pack supplies and what needs to go in that backpack and come to school each day. And of course, your HPISD Chromebook or charger. Now, some of you haven't received the Chromebook because you've been using your own device at home. At school, you'll use the HPISD Chromebook. You are allowed to keep that in your advisory class if you're comfortable using your at-home, your own personal computer at home. But leave your computers here. We're going to basically only use these HPISD Chromebooks while we're at school. So you'll need to have enough room again in that backpack to carry those supplies, maybe an extra face mask or 2, a water bottle, and then that HPISD Chromebook. Now, once you have all of that, you're ready for the first day of school. At this point, you'll, doors open at 7:30. You'll notice with the green sections over here, there's a drop off at High School Street, but also kind of a back entrance by the cafeteria off of Key Street. You'll enter those entrances, and then before 7:40 a.m., students will go to the cafeteria or attend tutorials. Obviously, next Tuesday, we won't have tutorials first thing, but students will be able to congregate in the cafeteria till about 7:40. And at that point, if they're not eating after 7:40, we will ask them to go to their first period or tutorials. Now, if they need to come in at 7:45 and grab something to eat, they can sit down and eat. But we do want to start moving our middle school students out because then we have MIS students that are coming in at that time, and we want to keep the cafeteria from building up too many students in there because we want to be able to keep them spaced out. No food allowed in classes. So again, we want you to eat there. 7:55 each morning, the breakfast line will be closed for middle schoolers. So if you're arriving after 7:55, you need to go straight to class to that first period and hopefully have eaten breakfast at home. Once you leave the cafeteria in the morning, the hallways are marked. You can see here we have a kind of a blue lane, a center lane going down the hallway. You'll stay to the right lane and always walk to the right and kind of in a single file and kind of facing forward with that mask on. So that way we keep socially distanced and our faces are all kind of away from each other. We won't be congregating in the hallways. And reminder, we don't have lockers anymore. So that's going to help with some of the hallway congestion. So hallways, getting to your classrooms, there will be assigned seating in all classes. This is so we can make sure we track and know where everybody is every period. So not that seating arrangements can't change, but there'll be an assigned seat. You will have an assigned seat 8 periods, eight times a day in each of your classes. We have several classes that have dual seating tables. Some even have 4 top tables. And you can see the pictured plexi partitions. We have several combinations of those placed in those rooms. Students will be required to wear masks in all classes once again and using the plexiglass. And of course, we're trying to distance our desk out, not really what's best for collaboration, but what's best for social distancing. We really want to promote that. So that means some of our classrooms are going to be facing all one way instead of kind of together and facing each other. And they're going to be spaced out of as far apart as possible, as much as the room would allow. We do have some large classes, so in every class we'll do this to the maximum amount we can. Lunch pre-orders. You should have received some notice about this. We'll be using NutriSlice. It's an app, and you can order those lunches online. It's a box lunch. It's a cold lunch and a hot lunch and a salad that you'll have as a choice. Download that app, and parents, what I would do, what I'm doing with my own daughter, I have a 5th grader, we're going to sit down on Sunday evenings and kind of pick out what we want to order. So this Sunday, I guess that's the 7th, or no, the 6th, sit down with your student and find out what they want to eat that week, and you can place that order, and then a box will be waiting for them at lunch. So that's a little bit of before you get to school there, but that's how we'll be doing our lunches. Of course, you're more welcome to bring your own lunch as well, but if you're planning to purchase anything at the cafeteria, it'll be done through pre-order box lunches. So lunch procedures, we will be dividing up and having 2 different lunch locations. We'll have 7th graders in the gym, 8th graders will eat in the cafeteria. Students who purchase a pre-ordered lunch, they're going to have 4 house lines for them to pick up those meals. So they'll have a designated line that they'll be able to go in, and where they pick up their box, they'll scan their student ID. I'll talk about this later, but the student ID is a really important component. We're really going to promote everybody wearing those around their neck, around the school, to where we can keep these processes going. We're dividing up the lines by advisory house so we can keep those lunch lines from being too congested. Everything we're trying to do is just limit long lines and staying in line too long. Students will sit in marked seats. I'll tell you right now, we have probably enough room to sit over 600 kids in the cafeteria. We probably won't have more than 250 sitting in the cafeteria now because we're only using certain marked socially distanced seats. Plus, additionally, we'll have plexiglass shields in the cafeteria. And then we'll have students that'll be in the gym will be in the bleachers, and we've marked off 6 feet of social distancing for those in the bleachers. We also have about 30 or 40 seats for overflow, to where if those seats in the bleachers do run out, we do have a place for those students to sit in a chair somewhere around the gym or gym lobby. There is where we'll be using seating for our 7th graders. But no one will be sitting on the floor. Again, I said student ID is going to be really, really important. Lunch, library, we're going to talk more about why that's important with our advisory teachers too. But your very first period, on your very first day, one of the first things you're going to get from your advisory teacher is a student ID with your lanyard. It has last year's picture on it. Hopefully we're going to get pictures, I think, on September 16th, and we'll get new, fresh pictures of you. But wear your student ID at all times while you're in the building. There's a lot of reasons why: safety, security, ease of getting through lunch and library. But make sure you have that. It'll be, again, an important part of your day to have that student ID. At the close of the day, we have dismissal, and we're going to really ask that everybody just leave the building. You know, we have various exits here that you can be able to leave the building. There's not a need to go back to your locker or back up to a certain floor. If you're on the first floor, go ahead and leave. I would have a plan. Parents and students have a plan of where you want to meet. Maybe there's a certain spot based on where your student's getting out of the building that you want to just designate, hey, I'm going to pick you up here on High School Street or this spot on Key Street. So make a plan on that. That's something you can do prior to school starting. School gets out at 3:15, and although we do have a lot of students here, you'll be, if you're new to the middle school, we clear out the carpool line pretty quick here. It works pretty well. I know I went over a lot here, and we'll keep going over more, but I just wanted to give you a couple of things that you could do before you ever come to school. For those that are not coming to school, remote learners, I did want you to know that even though you will continue to learn remotely next week, you will follow the regular bell schedule. And meaning, instead of our synchronous versus asynchronous, odd, even block days that we've had over the last 2 weeks, you will now transition to a regular bell schedule that will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 periods in a row. So you'll need to follow that bell schedule. So if you have timers on your phone and you're a remote learner this week, you may want to set them for the bell schedule, the regular bell schedule for next week, because that'll be something different. And you'll check in. There'll be a Google Meet at the beginning of each one of those periods for you to continue to learn from your teachers. You won't have a schedule change. We don't have cohorts or hybrid learning here. Each period may look a little bit different, but again, some things to expect. You'll have direct teaching sometimes, or we'll go over a PowerPoint and go over notes with you. There could be a Q&A session of just different topics. Independent work time, small groups, they may work, or even individual help where you're able to sit down and have some one-on-one with those teachers through a remote conversation. Some tips for remote learners. This is going to be different. You're going to be talking to your teacher, and a majority of your classmates will be in that classroom with that teacher. So it can be kind of tough. My tip is being proactive. If you have questions, put those in the chat box. It may feel like they're all there. I'm here alone in my home trying to follow this, but put it in there. We have students we're going to assign tasks to answer questions and stop the teacher and say, hey, this student has a question in the chat here. And you may be bringing up a point that the entire class needs to hear. Also, if you're walking out of or the class is ending and you still don't understand a concept, attend that teacher's tutorials the same way you would in person, but obviously you can't go to that tutorial in person, but we have tutorials set up for every one of your content areas. So go to that. They may be morning, they may be afternoon. You'll have to check with each individual teacher, but go to them. That'll be a time to have a conversation and maybe get some reteaching or remediation on any of those assignments. Again, this is a different year for all of us. I've never opened up a school completely virtually, so this will be a new journey for me. It'll be a new journey for you. I will tell you, you're doing an incredible job. Students, y'all have done an amazing job. We were worried about, how well you'd be able to access things online. You've shown us that you know you have grit and determination to learn. And right there alone will make you successful. I'm excited to meet many of you. I know I'm a new principal, so it doesn't feel like the school year has begun until you get inside the building with us. So remember what HP's kind of motto is this year: together we can do virtually anything. Thank you, guys.